There's a strange weight to the truth when it arrives too late, like hearing the echo of a...
Good day, I am Safu John Farming of Group 3, and we are presenting on why people, even the educated, fail to think critically. Now, critical thinking is the ability of a person to make sound judgments, sound and clear judgments based on the evidence they have evaluated. Now, we were taught that education is the best tool in sharpening our minds. So then, why do people, mostly educated ones, fail to think critically? Here's something to think about. We go to school, write exams, learn textbooks, only to pass, and then we still can't think critically. Yet, research shows that educated people frequently find it difficult to think critically. We were taught that education is the ultimate tool for sharpening our minds. So then why is it that most people still find it difficult to think critically even after going through education?
Also, economic innovation and adaptability. Policymakers insist on critical thinking because modern fast-paced knowledge relies heavily on creative and analytical individuals who can solve complex organizational information and seamlessly adapt to organizational technological changes. Furthermore, rational education is a case of critical thinking. Havel Segar in 1988 maintains that rational education should actively cultivate rational judgment and objective reasoning, equipping individuals with the precise tools necessary to evaluate information accurately rather than relying on uncritical beliefs.
Of critical thinking, which is the importance of critical thinking, promotes good language and presentation skills. By thinking critically, you can present your thoughts in an organizing manner. Analyzing your data logically helps you express your ideas more effectively. Encourage decision making. Being a good and logic thinker allows you to outline possible solutions to your problems. By doing that, you can then easily do the best solution to apply it accordingly.
Barriers that prevent people from thinking critically. There are barriers that enable people from thinking critically. Some of these barriers include confirmation bias and Dunning-Kruger's effect. Confirmation bias is defined by the Federal Intelligence Service as the tendency to interpret a new information in a way that confirms our existing hypothesis and terminology or theories.
Intellectual humility is essential. Critical thinkers recognize their limitations, accept correction, and remain open to new ideas. Without this, education can lead to overconfidence. Education and critical thinking are different. Education often emphasizes gaining knowledge and qualification, while critical thinking requires analyzing evidence, questioning assumptions, and considering different viewpoints.
Education and critical thinking are not the same. All education focuses on knowledge and credential. Critical thinking involves questioning, analysis, and openness. Intellectual humility is key, as education without it can breed overconfidence and reinforce biases. And yes, critical thinking should and must be developed through reflection and practice. Education does not automatically develop from schooling.
Education and social barriers. Education and social barriers can make critical thinking harder because it trains people to accept ideas without questioning them. With learning culture is when we memorize facts without really understanding them. While education and social barriers with learning culture blocks critical thinking. 1. They may focus on repeating answers. 2. They may not ask why or how. 3. They become used to learning by memorizing rather than analyzing. Example is a student who memorizes a definition but cannot explain it in his or her own words.
Social conformity. The social conformity tells about following what the group believes or does. Why it blocks critical thinking? People may hide their real thoughts. People may fear to disagree just to fit in. They avoid unpopular questions. Example, a student knows an answer seems wrong but stays quiet because everyone else agrees. Moreover, following what the group believes or does. Why it blocks critical thinking? People may hide their real thoughts. People may fear to disagree just to fit in. They avoid unpopular questions.
The pathways forward to improving critical thinking require changes in both education and society. Schools should move beyond rote memorization and encourage students to ask questions, analyze evidence, solve problems, and engage in discussions. Teachers should create classrooms where different opinions are respected and students feel confident to think independently. Beyond the classroom, society should promote media literacy so people can identify misinformation and make informed decisions. We should also encourage intellectual humility, which means being willing to admit when we are wrong and learn from others. Finally, governments, educational institutions, families, and the media all have a role to play in creating a culture that values curiosity, reason, and evidence. By implementing these reforms, we can develop genuine critical thinkers who contribute to personal growth and national development. Thank you.
In conclusion, education doesn't necessarily create critical thinkers as proven in the above explanation. These barriers that inhibit individuals from thinking critically. These barriers could be cognitive, psychological, educational, and sociological. Although these barriers exist and they prevent critical thinking, measures can be put in place to overcome such barriers. Thank you.